Manchester United looking to move on 10 or more first-team players this summer. Erik ten Hag demands reassurances about his job security and reaction to Manchester United's 4-2 victory against Sheffield United. These are some of the topics we will be discussing on the show this morning. But before we get into that, please smash a like on today's video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and let's get straight on into it. So let's start the show off with some positivity. Let's start talking about the game yesterday against Sheffield United. I was so happy with that performance. I think that Sheffield United's 2 goals kind of spoilt them. I don't think they deserve 2 goals, being completely honest. It was our best performance of the season, and I know people will say it was Sheffield United. It doesn't matter. We played worse against Newport. We played worse against Wigan. We played worse against Coventry. All of those sides are below Sheffield United in the football pyramid. Newport are a League 2 side, and we struggled against them. Wigan, I think, are in League 1. We struggled against them. Coventry are mid-table in the Championship. We nearly went out of the FA Cup semi-final to them. So I know people will say it just shows how much Man United have fallen, but does anybody really think we're, a title-winning team anymore? We're not at the moment, are we? So it was a convincing performance. I think we ended the game with 72% possession. The first half, I think we had 82% possession. And that's the kind of football that we expected from Erik ten Hag. Bit more slow, bit more pragmatic. Bruno Fernandes, instead of playing the Hollywood ball every time, playing the nice little passes to Christian Eriksen. And it just makes you feel a little bit more calm, doesn't it? Because every single football match this season that Man United have been involved with has been like a basketball match. You think about that Chelsea game a couple of weeks ago. It was literally end to end. It's entertaining for a mutual, but if you're a Man United fan, you're just sat there constantly thinking we're either going to score or concede. Whereas against Sheffield United, I didn't really feel like that at all. I know they scored 2 goals, but they were against the run of play. I think we had 25 shots yesterday against Sheffield United. We missed 4 or 5 what are described as big chances. So it could have easily been, 7 or 8-2, and no one would have blinked an eyelid because we had so many opportunities. Why was that? I'll be honest. People were saying, it's because Rashford didn't play. I think that's a little bit harsh. I personally don't think Rashford should be starting for Man United at the moment. He doesn't look 100% right. Whether that's mentally, whether that's physically, I don't know. I'm not sure what's wrong with him. But I don't think it's fair to completely blame Marcus Rashford, for everything. We did well yesterday because Sheffield United play a low block. They weren't pressing us, so it makes it a lot more easy to pass the ball around. So I'm not going to sit here and pretend that yesterday's game means that we're now going to win the Champions League next season. Obviously, we're not going to be in it, so that's a stupid example. But you know what I mean. We have to be realistic. Sheffield United are a good side, but they let us have the ball. They didn't really press us, and that made it easier for us. But still, we still beat them. It was still convincing, and I was really, really happy with the performance. And I think, pretty much everybody on the pitch, bar maybe Onana, came away from that game with maybe a 6 out of 10 minimum, Bruno Fernandes, 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10, unbelievable. Kobe Mainoo was good again. I think Casemiro at centre-back was decent, considering he's not a centre-back. Maguire, really, really solid. So, yeah, really, really happy with yesterday's game. But let me know what you guys think. Obviously, we've got Burnley on Saturday now. The games are coming thick and fast. We need to get 6th place as a minimum so we get Europa League football next season. I know some people don't want Europa League, but from a financial perspective, finishing 6th and getting Europa will help us. It will help us going into next season. It will allow us to buy more players. It will allow us to really do the rebuild we need, which I'm going to talk about now. So there's a really interesting article that's come out this morning via a reliable outlet here in the UK, and they're reporting the following. Jason Wilcox, who is the new technical director, who has now joined, he was at Old Trafford last night, says Jason Wilcox is leading an overview of every position in the Manchester United squad. And multiple players could leave the club this summer. The ones whose futures are looking uncertain are as follows. So we're going to run through all the players really, really quickly. Anthony, I don't think Anthony's going anywhere purely because we paid 80 million for him last season, so I don't think that's realistic. Marcus Rashford, and it says in brackets for the right price. I would look to move on Rashford. He has been good for us at points, but he's been here for 8 or 9 years now. I know he's from the youth academy, but I mean, he's been in the first team for 8 or 9 years. And during that period, we've not really been successful with him that much. We've won a Europa League, won an FA Cup. We've won a League Cup. I think that's about it. So maybe 3 trophies in those 9 years with him being a starter. Martial, obviously Martial's contract's expired, so that's the correct decision. No new contract for Martial. Jadon Sancho, 100% move him on. Casemiro, 100% move him on. Christian Eriksen, I think, in a game like yesterday where you're not being pressed, Christian Eriksen is worth keeping. But 99% of teams in the Premier League will press you. They're not just going to sit back and park the bus. Because, you see teams like Bournemouth coming to Old Trafford and getting a result against us. Crystal Palace. Like, the competition is so hard in the Premier League now that players like Christian Eriksen, who I think is now 31, 32, yes, he's unbelievable at passing. He's a great playmaker, but he doesn't have the legs to be pressed constantly and to have to track back. And in a game like yesterday, he was unbelievable. So I think for Christian Eriksen, maybe going to like the Italian league or the Dutch league, somewhere where the other teams are just going to park the bus constantly and he's going to have time on the ball. I think he would still be a really, really good player. But in the Premier League at this level, I don't think he's up to it now personally. But obviously, let me know what you guys think. The next one on the list is Amrabat. Obviously, his loan spell ends in June. Send him back 100%. Wan-Bissaka, I think he's unbelievable one-on-one defending, but his attacking play is really poor. And Erik ten Hag really relies on his fullbacks to really get up the pitch and offer something, and he doesn't. So Wan-Bissaka definitely should be sold. Varane, his contract expires, definitely let him go. Lindelof, 100% let him go. And then the last one on the list, there's two more. You've got Harry Maguire and you've got Donny van de Beek. Donny van de Beek, definitely let go. Harry Maguire. Now, this is going to come across a bit as controversial, all right? And people will say, oh, you've slagged off Harry Maguire in the past. Opinions can change. Football is a performance-based sport. If somebody puts in good performances throughout a season, your opinion can change of them, You can't just say, oh, well, he was poor 2 seasons ago, so I want him sold now. Me, personally, I would let Lindelof go, sell him, obviously. You'll get some money for him. I'd let Varane go because his contract expires and he still wants to continue on 350k a week, which is ridiculous. So let Varane go. And then you're left with Martinez, Willy Cambuala, and Harry Maguire. So that's 3 defenders. I would keep those 3. Obviously, Johnny Evans' contract expires as well, so he'll leave. Apparently, Johnny Evans is going to be part of the coaching team next season. So Johnny Evans won't be a centre-back for Man United next season. As it stands, the only people who will be centre-backs, Varane's contract expires, so we will just have Lindelof, Maguire, Martinez, and Willy Cambuala. I would sell Lindelof, bring in Todibo. Then if a big bid comes in for Maguire, obviously you sell him. But I would probably at this point rather sell Lindelof because I know that Harry Maguire is limited, but he's a much better defender in the box. He's much more stronger. He's better on the ball. Yes, Lindelof's a little bit more quick, but Lindelof gets pushed off the ball constantly. He's not very physical. In my opinion, Harry Maguire is better than Lindelof, and I think most of you would probably agree. Do I think he's good enough to start every single game for Manchester United? No, but I think in games like yesterday, where the teams aren't going to press you, then he's a good rotational player. If you're playing up against, I don't know, like a Man City, and they're, you don't really want someone like Harry Maguire because you want to be a bit further up the pitch. And because Harry Maguire's slow, it means that the defence naturally are further back, if that makes sense. But yeah, I think in a slower game, Harry Maguire's good. He picks a pass, he brings the ball forward. And I think you have to give him a lot of credit. He's really, really come on leaps and bounds. He's not complained once. He's not done a Sancho putting statements up on Twitter. You've heard nothing from him, and he's got the right attitude. So for me personally, unless, a good bid comes in for Harry Maguire, we're talking 30 million, then I would keep him for one more season. His contract expires next year. So realistically, either he'll leave as a free agent next year or Man United will try and sell him this year. I obviously wouldn't give him a new contract. He's going to be 32 years of age next year. So either he stays for one more year, lets his contract run down and move on, or Man United get a big amount of money for him this season. But whether that will happen or not, we'll have to wait and see. But I want you guys to let me know in the comment section, who should be sold this summer? And what do you think of this list? I agree with all of them. I think all of them should go, apart from... I don't think Anthony will go just because we won't be able to get the money back. That doesn't mean I don't want him to go. It just means that I think it's unrealistic. But you guys let me know what you think of that in the comment section below. Let's have a quick look what else we had planned for the show. Oh yeah, one final thing before we wrap up the video. I wanted to say a happy birthday to Raphael Varane, who turns 31 years of age today. Happy birthday, Varane. You've been a really good servant for the club. It's been incredible to see a player like Varane at Manchester United. I was at the Leeds game 4 seasons ago where he was unveiled on the pitch, and the mood when we signed Varane was like, we're going to now start winning Premier Leagues. I think we got Varane, Ronaldo, and Sancho in the same season or in the same summer. It obviously hasn't really materialised into what we've all hoped, but still, Yeah, I think he has been a very good defender for us, but with his contract expiring now, him turning 31 and his injury record, obviously you have to move him on and let him go as a free agent. But I'm going to wrap the video up here, guys. If you have enjoyed today's show, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. This has been Daily Red Devil. Have a lovely day, everybody, and I'll speak to you all later.